Alright guys, so today I'm going to be installing a new radio. I'm going to try to keep this video short and simple and not overcomplicate it. But basically, I bought this JVC radio from Best Buy a few years ago. It was like $80 and I regret buying it because if I would have spent like an extra probably an extra $150, I would have gotten something a little more convenient and better. And that's what I have here today, so let me cut to that. So I've got this Boss Audio Systems BCPA10 and I'm going to be installing this in my truck today. And the main reason why I love this is because it has Apple CarPlay and also because of the whole touchscreen thing and integration and obviously the Bluetooth. I got these little wire crimps from Amazon. They were, I think, $10 or less. I forgot. I've got this older Type A cable to Lightning cable, and I'm going to be using this to use the CarPlay because I believe this is the only way it works is through wire. I thought I had one of these lying around. If I do end up finding this, I'm going to return this one. And finally, we've got this Scotch, I believe that's how you pronounce it, Scotch car stereo radio kit. It's basically just the plastic. I might end up returning this one as well because it might be exactly the same as this one that I have installed right now. So I'm gonna actually try to fit the new radio onto this older radio kit, and if it works, then I'm gonna save some money there. What'll make this job a lot easier is a toolbox for your truck so that you have all your tools ready. And what I'm going to be using basically is the plastic trim pieces so you don't damage the plastic. So I've got them in here, basically these little plastic trim pieces. And then you're going to want your toolbox or whatever that has your basic screwdriver with bits and all that. Screwdriver with the bits, and I forgot which one it is, but we will find out here in a moment. And then your little wire tool. All right, so I've got my toolbox here, and I'm gonna use my 1/4-inch drive with a 10mm socket. And the first thing, the most important thing we're gonna do is disconnect this battery. So I've already got one side. So I think you're only supposed to disconnect one, but just to be super sure, I'm gonna just disconnect the whole thing, negative and the positive. So make sure that's snug somewhere so it doesn't retract and hit the metal or whatever. So there you go, disconnected battery, and now we can actually work on this project. All right, so I took my wrist wear off so I could work a little more comfortable, but basically we're gonna take our little plastic trim tool. I'm just gonna jam it in there and kind of just work around it. You're not free yet because there are some connections that you need to remove. So, but this one down here should be there's a tab right there. Hold it down and then just pull it out. The hazard is supposed to have a tab, but mine is broken, so I can just pull it out easily. All right, and we're gonna set these things outside the truck because you wanna have a clean workspace when you're doing this. So I'm gonna use a 932 to remove the screws, the 3 screws from the radio. So you've got 2 on this side, and then you've got 1 on this side. I'm actually gonna remove this plastic cover from the radio. Might need to use the tool. All right, let me get that out of the way. All right, so I actually have a harness in here. So I'm gonna let that dangle, even though you're not really supposed to, but I'm gonna let that dangle. And I'm gonna disconnect the harness. So this is the original wiring from the truck right here, and then this is the harness that I installed for the Best Buy radio. So let's go ahead and remove this. All right, we've got that removed. Get the antenna out of there. And then the little chime box, which I have Velcroed back here. So all that just comes out, and we can actually work outside of the truck now, which is awesome because I'm struggling to get light in here. And yeah, here's the antenna cable, and I guess I have like an extension that came with a kit. I don't remember, it was a long time ago, but yeah, there's an extension for the antenna there. As you can see, you can just unplug it, plug it back in. There's the original harness for the Chevy, the antenna, and the stuff that was on the panel. Let's actually get that out of the way so we don't get confused. when we're wiring or whatnot. All right, so now we're gonna work outside of the truck. So let's go ahead and do this. All right, so we're gonna try to get this radio unit off of the frame. So I actually flattened the top ones and made the side ones flare out, and it actually just came out, so that's good. All right, so I've got all that removed, and I've got the little plastic frame, the one that was in the truck. So I don't know the reasoning why I had to buy this special harness, but it comes with a little chime. When you turn the key and it chimes, that's what this is. And the harness there that you've seen, and yeah, all of that was connected to the aftermarket wiring, which is this right here, the one with the blue tape around it. So we're gonna remove all these connections here, and yeah, this is some sloppy work right here, and that's why I bought those little plastic crimps, so it's a little more tight and professional, and so I don't have to worry about these wires ever coming out. So here's the new radio that I will be installing. This is just the screen, and it is removable, which is awesome because theft. And so we've got some brackets. We're gonna figure this out. Brackets and the wiring. Got the little manual here. And here is the most important thing, the box. And yeah, so I'm gonna open this up, and be careful when you're removing the aluminum frame, guys, because that's some nasty stuff right there if you're not careful and if you're rushing like I was. So all right guys, so after a whole lot of trouble, I put the frame on the new plastic that I got from Amazon, because it was never going to work with the old one because it didn't go all the way so that I could push these triangle pieces up and out, and it just didn't fit properly. So we're going to go ahead and click the radio in here. So make sure these tabs are flaring out so that it actually clicks, or actually the opposite. Make sure they're being pushed in so that when you put the radio in, it's gonna click in place. So it just clicked in place, and this thing is not going anywhere. So actually the little plastic frame that came with it, I believe it's this one right here. I'm probably not gonna end up using it because I don't think it works on here. Yeah, so that little plastic frame square is not going on here because it just doesn't fit. And actually, I don't think it really needs a frame, because once it's installed, you're not really going to be able to see any of the metal pieces or whatever. So yeah, that's fine by me. All right guys, so I removed all of my connections from the harness, and you can see all the connections there. And this is the new one from the new radio, and I actually just crimped one wire. So we have got the black one right here, and just making sure this is tight both ways when you do this. And yeah, we're just gonna do this for all of these, or as many as we can connect. I know there are some that are for video input for like a camera or whatnot, but I'm not gonna need to do that since I don't have that. Another thing that I learned, guys, this tool right here that is actually from Walmart. I was using the non-insulated, the 12 through 10 and the 22 through 14, as you can see right there, but I didn't realize that the crimps that I have, I believe these are actually insulated. So I actually used the wrong one for the first sleeve, and I had to yank it off. But what you're supposed to use, if you have my case right here, is the one that says crimper insulation 22 through 10. So that's what I've been using. All right guys, so after this mess, I have finally come to this product, or this result right here. Disregard that wire. I've been cutting wires because the length on these have been too long, but what I've done as a solution, I was cutting it like halfway, like right here, for the little cramp sleeve or whatever, but I found that if you actually just bend them like halfway and then just start rotating them like crazy, I mean, that works too. There's no reason to cut them, which I was doing in like the first half of these, but this has turned out really good though. This final wire right here, the blue and white, I'm not really sure what the blue and white wire is for. It had one of these plastic cups on them, but about to install this last one right here, guys, and yeah, that'll be it, and we're gonna install it and see what happens. All right, so I got it to turn on, and yeah, you just want to make sure that you just get all the wires right. You don't want to get confused with the striped ones. You don't want to connect the striped one with the solid one, so you need to be careful when you're doing that. And yeah, right now I just hooked it up to the harness, and I made sure that this chimes as well, because when you can hear it right now chiming. And turn the ignition on or whatever, it does its usual thing. All right, so this is the old microphone connection. I have the new one around here somewhere. All right, so this is the new one, so I'm gonna have to run this the way I ran this one. And I think what I did is I probably took off this panel down here, because the start destination is right here and the end destination is right up here. So yeah, I'm gonna have to deal with that and see how I did that, because I do not remember how I did that. I'm gonna go ahead and hook up the antenna and see if we get to our FM and AM. All right, so I've got the antenna hooked up, I've got the harness, and yeah, everything is good right there except for the microphone, but I'll worry about that last. So try to run this microphone now and see how I did this. The cable, it was right here originally. Need to do a better job of tucking that, or else that wire is gonna get bent or whatever. And then all this random stuff right here. This is my truck alarm that I had installed like 2 years ago. So first time seeing that. Pretty looks like a mess in there, but the alarm works, so that's good. Well, that didn't go too well, but I can connect this back some other time. And besides, I'm not going to be using this microphone anymore, so not big a deal. But what happened was the guys that installed my car alarm, I guess they got this microphone wire and they kind of like zip tied it to all the other wires and stuff, and that kind of just made it harder on me. But oh well, you know, stuff happens. Trying to get this new one hooked, and I actually figured out how the configuration goes. So yeah, I'm gonna go through here, go through the little weather sleeve, go through here, go through the hole right here under the steering wheel, go under here, and then go through here. It's gonna shoot out over there, and it'll be coming out right here. So that should be pretty easy. So all right guys, so it's looking like the final product now, and I wanted to stop here because so I actually ran the Apple CarPlay output input or whatever. I ran the actual like Apple cable through one of the holes of this plastic radio kit unit or whatever. There's also another hole over there if you want to run another wire through there. But this is how I'm gonna do it. I've seen other videos where people just have the entire piece like dangling out down here, and I really didn't want to do that, and I didn't want to cut the plastic as well. So I wanted to do the easiest solution or route or whatever, and this is what I came up with. And the other port is for charging, but I don't really need charging. I can use my actual like charging unit or whatever. I have this Type-C charging unit or whatever that charges really quick, but apparently this seems to charge as well. Whenever I connect it for the AirPlay, the green battery thing turns on the iPhone, which indicates that it's charging, but I don't know if it's actually charging. So I'll have to look at that before I finish this off. All right guys, and this is how it turned out. So I actually have it plugged into the AirPlay right now, and I guess I can take as much wire out as I want to, or kind of push it back in or whatever, but I will mess with that some other day, because right now I just wanted to get this thing installed because I've spent a lot of hours on here. So yeah, in the future I'll think about how I want to do that, but for now, I mean, this is pretty good. It's not going to get in the way, and I have the AirPlay on there, maps, music, messages, which is pretty cool. I'll have to mess with that in the future. So now with the light on, here is the microphone. So yeah, it's kind of cool how it came with its own little adhesive pad. So I'm definitely going to use or keep these crimps in my bag. I think I'm going to keep this as like my electrical bag, because I just recently cleaned my toolbox and organized it and stuff, and I'm trying to have some order in there because it's been chaos for the last few years. I have this warranty card, and I was originally going to buy this on Walmart, but there was a 1-year warranty on that, and of course you'd have to pay extra for the 2-year, 3-year, 4-year plan or whatever. But apparently if you bought this through Amazon, which I did, the radio that I installed in this video, you apparently get like a 3-year warranty or whatever. through Amazon. So I guess as long as you register it, and that's what this card is about. On the other side is the information. Also, I did test the Apple CarPlay connection, and it actually does charge my phone. It was at 25%, and then it bumped all the way up to 27%. So that means that it does charge, which is pretty convenient, actually. That might be the only way I connect my phone now, instead of using the dedicated charger. But all right, so it wouldn't hurt to have a paper clip lying around here, or something really thin, to hit that reset button on the bottom of the little radio right here. As you can see right there, there's the hole. And I found that you don't really need to hold it. You just press it, and the lights go off on the little controls here, and then you let it go, and it just resets. The reason I'm talking about that, or bring that up, is because I had instances where these lights down here, the buttons would be flashing, but the screen would be completely off or unresponsive or whatever. But I pressed the reset button, and these lights went off, and then they came back on, and with that coming on, the screen came on. So yeah, so you'll probably have to do that every once in a while. I think the reason why it happened to me so often is just because the new installation and getting all this stuff sorted out with the wires, and constantly having to remove and attach the screen. And yeah, thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you learned something. This is a 2011 Chevy Colorado, 3.7 liter, the 5 inline cylinder. And yeah, that'll be it. Feel free to check out my SoundCloud, where I rap over beats and do whatever on there. And I have a Spotify playlist linked in the description below. All those things are linked in the description below. And yeah, that'll do it for this video, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Also, I have a video that I'm working on with my Lowe's toolbox that I bought, the $99 one that I talked about in this video. And I don't know if I'm going to upload that one first or upload this video first. But again, thank you guys for tuning in, and I will see you in the next video.